We're losing other species on Earth at an unprecedented rate. Plants, animals, insects. The current view of most scientists is more related to the rate of extinction rather than the exact number because they simply can't keep up with all the extinctions. That we're losing anywhere between 1,000 and 10,000 times the background rate, that which we've seen for the previous several thousands of years, which used to be about 2 to 4 species going extinct per year. Regardless of the metric, it's massive and it's an embarrassing amount. So why all the extinctions? And what are we doing about it? Recognizing that there's a serious problem, and part of the Convention on Biological Diversity, held in 2010, 200 nations adopted a 10-year plan to save other species by the year 2020. They weren't concerned about saving them in 2010. They wanted to wait until the year 2020. These are just 4 of the 20 targets that were agreed upon. Just 4. A midterm report was issued last year because we were halfway there to the year 2020, and unfortunately it stated that these 20 targets will not be met. Worse, it confirmed that loss of biodiversity is actually accelerating. And by the way, these are the recognized 5 drivers of biodiversity loss on the right. Do you see a common denominator? Well, nearly all researchers agree that the leading cause of all 5 of these drivers combined is animal agriculture, livestock on land, and fishing in our oceans. So similar to climate change, our leaders can set goals and targets all they want, but these goals and targets will never be reached without eliminating animals from our diet. For instance, just one example, it's pretty easy to meet their goal of reducing overfishing. Just stop eating fish. Problem solved. Done. I also know where they could get 45% more land to save. The Living Planet Index shows that we lost more than half of all vertebrate animal species in the world since 1970. Half are gone. Well, it's no surprise that during that same 40-year period of time, global production of meat and dairy products quadrupled. What we're doing to other forms of life on Earth is unparalleled in the history of our planet, where one species is causing the mass extinction of nearly all other species. It reminds me of this somewhat well-known and very appropriate comment that if all insects on Earth disappeared, within 50 years, all life on Earth would end. However, if all human beings disappeared from Earth, within 50 years, all forms of life would flourish. Even Pope Francis weighed in on his concern that Earth is our home and that the environment has rights, and that we humans are selfish in our disregard of Mother Earth. Now, whether you believe in God or not, he's absolutely right. But thus far, Pope Francis hasn't made that critical connection to food choice and the destructive effects of animal agriculture, but he will, and at least for now, the seed has been planted. Today, there's really no organization or business in the United States and most of the rest of the world that expects to be taken seriously that does not have this word sustainable found somewhere in their corporate responsibility statement. I mean, look, even funeral products want to be sustainable. So now it's up to us to guide everyone through that open door to make that final connection to food choice. The choices we make together, particularly with things we consume, such as food, dictates supply and therefore directs the use of our resources. It's not the industrial meat producer or the dairy factory farmer that'll take down the last standing rainforest on Earth. And it won't be the large commercial fishing trawler that's responsible for catching that last poor single fish remaining in the sea. It'll be the human consumer who's demanding it. In summary of today, this half of the presentation, the part 1, it's not a time for baby steps or for us to simply do less of something that's extremely destructive. We need to begin thinking outside of self at our effect on others and future generations of all species, and then to act now. The clock is ticking. If you haven't done so already, consider adopting a fully whole food, plant-based diet today, and then don't stop there. Please encourage others to do the same. We must all remember that we must remember that it is our planet Earth that sustains and nourishes us. So it really won't matter how healthy we are as individuals if our planet is not healthy. Tomorrow, beginning at 9 a.m., I'm going to be talking about so many more important topics critical to our survival as a species and the effect we have on our planet and other living beings. I'm not going to review all of them now, but these are the topics we're going to talk about. Our oceans, one quick thing about that, we're going to be talking about the real truth about sustainable seafood that you won't hear anywhere else. We're going to talk about remedies and timelines. We're also going to be talking about the future of food, grass-fed operations, permaculture, carbon farming movements, urban agriculture. We're going to talk about this food choice sustainability gap. How bad is it? What's the current view of policymakers? We're going to look at some unique insights related to our current state of unsustainability, and we're going to be looking at perceived hurdles. I also have a few predictions for you, what I think is going to take place over the next 10, 20, 30 years. So therefore, we have solutions that we're going to explore, viable remedies, including grassroots efforts, and many things that we can accomplish together. We also have an ambassador program I'm going to introduce. And we, of course, have a summary of the optimism and hope that is clearly there. So I hope you'll join me tomorrow. We're in a unique situation to help save Earth as we know it, help save life on it now, and allow a livable future for those who inherit the Earth from us when we're gone, or we could allow it to continue on its current path to possibly be destroyed. We have enough information in front of us to make the right decisions. And in doing so, we will be seen not just as stewards, but as superheroes who stopped a runaway train with all of us on board and turned it in the direction of optimal sustainability, of rejuvenation, before we went over the cliff. I consider those of you in this room and those watching online and on future replays as our enlightened leaders. You can make this happen. You can inspire others to make this happen. I'd like to think it'll be our defining ethos, our legacy by which we will be remembered. How nice would that be? So I encourage all of us here today to go out and inspire others to become aware. Thank you so very much for sharing this past hour and a half with me. It's certainly a privilege for me to be here. Thank you so very much. Hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you so very much.